Need to sell your goods? You don't want to piddle around in Discord looking for that buyer and then having to deal with you guys playing on different time zones for that perfect time to meet up. Then a player vendor might be the exact option you're looking for. See, UO Outlands has a really good player vendor system that allows you to sell your goods even while you're offline. That way, even when you're offline, you can be making money so you can finally buy that grand fortress that you've been eyeballing for so long. So with that, guys, sit back, grab yourself a beer, and let's sell some stuff. First off, most vendor houses will have vendor rental contracts already locked down in their house. All you gotta do is just double click them and then follow the prompts. Other than that though, if you do need to buy a vendor rental contract yourself, you can pick them up at a bank for 100 gold pieces. But after that, then what? Finding the right vendor house to sell stuff from is extremely important. Some questions you might want to check before just taking the first free location might be as follows. Is this location well traveled? As the more people who walk by the vendor are the more people who will see what your vendor has to offer. Number 2, does this landlord have a gate character? You guys ever notice those guys at Shelter and even Prevalia lately that are gating to either their vendor house or a merchant of someone else's vendor house? This is a great source of advertisement for your vendor. Number 3, does the landlord or will you be advertising the vendor house on Discord? Just like in real life, customers will rarely come to you by chance. You gotta be a go-getter. So advertising your vendor house in Discord regularly is a great way to gain repeat business. And number 4, does the landlord have a public battle trainer? Now this is a new one, but let me tell you guys, it sure brings people in if it's easily accessible for new players to bash on. Okay, we've got our vendor place, so now what? When you double click your vendor, the first thing you'll want to do is change the name of the vendor. You can do this by clicking the Customize button on the top right. This is what people will see as the vendor shows up on their screen. I'd suggest something relevant to what you're selling. For my vendors, it's always Averite/Valorant weapons and ingots. Then you can name the shop whatever you'd like or just the same. But the most important thing is definitely the NPC's name. Not only that, but there you can change how they look and which direction they're facing. If you want to change their clothes, simply open up their paper doll and dress them up accordingly. The box below that one will be the contract terms. Whatever you're paying for the vendor, the gold will come out of what the vendor currently has. So in the box below that one, you will see a button where you can deposit gold 1,000 at a time. It's a good idea to keep a fair amount of gold on the vendor based on your contract price as well as your daily gold cost. Now, daily gold cost is a very small percentage based on what the vendor is selling. What, you didn't think that the vendors were just gonna sell all your stuff 24/7 for free, did you? Yeah, right. If for whatever reason he runs out of gold and the contract isn't renewable, then the vendor will disappear and your items will return to your bank. A new addition to the player vendors on Outlands is setting who the goods are available to. You can make it a guild-only vendor or to everyone. Not only that, but you can give a discount to your guild by selecting a percentage off. This could actually be really helpful if maybe you're a guild leader or the guild armorer and you want to sell full suits of armor to the guild at cost. So you could just put it for whatever it is, put a percentage, and then also have them at full price for people that happen to walk by your guild house. I don't know, just a thought. Okay, now let's talk about putting items on a vendor. By simply clicking View Goods, the vendor's inventory will open. Here you can drag and arrange items accordingly into the vendor's bag. Upon dragging an item into their bag, you'll be prompted to price it and give a description. At this point, type the price you want to sell it for, as well as something about the item. Now, keep in mind, when somebody clicks the item, it will say what the item is. So that description isn't necessarily going to be just what the item is. That's already there. If you perhaps want to sell multiple items as one, like maybe a full set of armor or something, then place them into a container and set the price on the container. Now, here's a topic up for debate. As far as pricing goes, keep in mind, selling on a vendor can be more costly than in Discord, so your prices should reflect that. Furthermore, keep in mind supply versus demand, your supply versus demand. I'm a firm believer in doing my best to keep my vendors stocked. Sometimes that means pricing goods for more than normal so I can keep the vendor stocked, then lowering them as my supply gets higher. People like to go to vendors they know are stocked and will typically pay more just for the ease of not having to search for a vendor with the item that they are looking for. Now, I'm a firm believer in every product has a buyer. If the price is higher, within reason of course, time to sell is typically longer. Now, if the price is lower, time to sell is typically shorter. Use that to your advantage. Now, what if you want to be a landlord? Well, this will require your house to be public. First, double-click the sign on your house, click ownership, and then declare the house to be public. Once this is done, you can double-click the vendor rental contract from your bag and adjust the terms for your tenants from there. All gold from the contracts will go to the landlord player's bank. And there you have it, guys. Just about anything you would want to know about player vendors. Now, this was requested for some time now, so I wanted to finally go ahead and do a video over it, especially with the new changes with the discounting to guild members and whatnot like that. That's super cool. Great job, Outlands. Other than that, I'll see you guys on the live streams most nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. And shout out to the Patreons, the channel members, and you for liking this video for discoverability for not just myself, but Outlands as a whole. And speaking of new players, if you guys have any new players that are trying to kind of understand this game and what it has to offer, then check out this playlist right here as it goes over tons and tons of different things that a new player should know while they're playing Outlands. Other than that, guys, I'll see you next time. Hone Star Gaming out.